Okay,
So fun, so fun.
hit the thing. We're doing a live feed here because a lot of people don't think that we're on the radio. So we're just doing some raw footage. AC10 in the back of me, stuff like that. So for those of you guys that are listening, welcome. This is the Donovan Sadiq Radio Show. I have a lot to talk about today because we have a lot of stuff going on here in the city of Moreno Valley near March Air Reserve Base. And let's just go ahead and talk and get into a lot of questions out there. Real quick before we go, for those people that are live on Facebook, I was an aircraft mechanic on the KC-10 air refueler. That's considered an old airplane now, so I'm an old person. But this is basically, I'm in my den, and this is my military I'm great thing. So, we all have one of those. You guys know what I'm talking about. So the 141, it is what it is, okay? But we're just shooting some raw footage. So anyway, today, very, very important day. I met with the March Joint Powers Association, and I met with Dr. Danielle M. Wheeler. She's the executive director out there. And as you know, March Air Reserve Base, some of the property has been put into caretaker status, and they're going to redevelop that area. And they're doing a lot of great things out there. The problem is, like I've been saying, for a long time, I've been saying this for a long time. The problem is the people don't have information and they don't know what's going on because we're in the matrix and we just figure that we're supposed to be born, go to school, get a job, and just continue on in life while these politicians are just robbing us blind. So here's the funny thing about me, Dr. Wheeler, very nice lady. She was a Marine. United States Marine, got her doctorates. Now, those of us that know, Marines aren't the smartest tools in the chest, okay? When you pull, when you're dealing with the Marine, you can use like the Jedi mind trick on Marines. And I'm just saying that because it's an inner service thing. But she, very nice lady. She's the one running it out there. She was stationed on Okinawa when she was first started, but very, very influential. The question that I have for you people in the Inland Empire is, we elect these city council people, these politicians, and it seems like they are doing absolutely nothing. But yet, I go to these groups that are not politically affiliated, and you talk to them and you say, well, what are you guys doing? What's happening? What's going on? And they're doing a lot of great things out there. They have, they're starting a vet center with U.S. vets, for the homeless vets and getting the guys back on their feet, and transition housing, a lot of great stuff. So I want you guys to go to the website, the Inland Empire Informer on Facebook, go to the Facebook site, and about a lot of stuff out there that is actually happening with them. But she was a Marine and she's got her doctorate. The worst kind of Marine you can ever run into is an educated Marine. So they're already bad enough, but when they get an education, and that's the end of that. So, but went out there with Pastor Don, and if you saw the show earlier that me and Pastor Don worked on, a lot of great stuff that he's doing, bringing a Boys and Girls Club into the city. Like, you guys have really, really got to listen to this. It just doesn't make sense to me. We're not getting paid a dime. He doesn't even live in the city, and yet all these doors are being opened to me very easily. But when you go to city council and you talk to that idiot mayor, the first thing they talk about is the city budget and what we don't have. And that's not true. Moreno Valley, a matter of fact, an article just came out that said that Moreno Valley is one of the most stablest cities in the country. So when you hedge your bets on low income warehousing, that's a steady bet. And that's what we have here. But the March Joint Powers, there are just so many constructions, and the mental health issue is a very, very big problem in the United States. And with that, we want to do something to solve the mental health problem, or at least give the people the opportunity to go get treated. Because you guys go up and down these streets, you see whole families out there begging for money and change, and some of them are, maybe smoked out or whatever they're doing. But where is the resources for them to get to help? There are none. We have to go to the county. We have to go this. We have to do that. And they don't have the resources. And so You've got individual people out here that are out here solving the problem that the city council should be doing. So my question is, where's Victoria Baca? We have an idiot mayor. We actually elected Goofy of Mickey Mouse fame as our mayor. I've met with Councilman Gaiba, and I'm telling you, for him to be removed off of that March Joint Powers Board is a step backwards. But for those of you that are listening on the radio, I'm going to tell you this as well. Idiot Gutierrez actually showed up for a meeting, which totally surprised me. So, because he doesn't have a track record of showing up for anything. And all he does is actually does what his master tells him. And his master is Highland Fairview and Ido Benvizi, a very good friend of mine. So you guys have to be very careful, because I want you to remember this. $800 million infrastructure bond towards the WLC. The WLC will never be in existence. You've got to put piping out there before you do anything. There is no piping out there. Somebody has to pay for that. Guess who? Exactly. So you guys are on the chat line. If you guys are on the radio and you're listening, this is the Donovan Siddiq Radio Show. Hey, go ahead and go to Spreaker and look up the Donovan Siddiq Radio Show. You will see us on here. I see some people are already listening. Thank you and welcome. I'm a little late, but you guys know how I do. And I'm not on Black people time, so don't even worry about that. So again, the question for the city of Moreno Valley that's going to be coming up next week is, are we going to appoint or elect the District 4 representative? Now, a lot of rumors have been going out there about what, some of the council members are going to do. And I'm going to tell you this. I sent an email, Dave Marquez, fellow veteran. I sent an email to Dave and I said, Dave, politically, you have no skin in this game and nothing to lose at this point by letting those people, hey, Gia, and I'm not, Steve. Yeah, everybody that's over there. Okay, I see you guys. Don't distract. Anyway, like I said, we're shooting raw footage. So those of you guys that are listening on the radio, please bear with me as my Okie family keeps giving me high fives and all that other stuff and things like that. But for those of you guys that are watching, this is what I do on a regular basis to give back to my community. I am known as there are some expletives that people call me, but basically this is how I give back to my community, by informing people what's going on, because everybody's in the matrix. And you spend in Southern California, you're going to spend at least 2 hours in traffic commuting from that really good paying job in LA. So by the time they get home, they got to deal with the kids, get something to eat. They don't really know what's going on. And we don't get any local news out here. And so the Inland Empire Informer and what I do actually does that. I got a few questions coming up from those of you guys listening on the radio. So here we go. And okay, here we go. Victoria Baca. The question is, what has Victoria Baca done, and what is she going to do in the future? Not a damn thing. Did that answer your question? So Victoria Baca, she is an acolyte for Highland Fairview. And being an acolyte means she will bend over and take it in the keister for whatever Ido wants her to do. And the minute that she got back on that seat, you can see she has returned to her agenda of working for Highland Fairview. For 2 years, when she was a previous council member, Victoria Baca did more for the 3rd district than she did for our district. And it's just a doggone shame, and it's very sad that people voted her back in. But when I was meeting with the JPA today, members of the JPA, Moreno Valley is a joke. Moreno Valley is a joke. And a question is the Evan Morgan situation. So those of you that have been following the pages and have been listening to the radio shows, recently another Highland Fairview acolyte, Evan Moron, I call him Evan Moron. Evan Morgan, very disturbed individual here. If you saw the video, Evan Morgan, for those of you guys that are watching, haven't listening, this guy was recently elected to the school board of Moreno Valley. Now, For those of you who do not know, we recently have a guy that is in prison right now who was on the school board, who was supported by Highland Fairview and Ito Benbizi, good friend of Victoria Baca and Ixtin Gutierrez. And he was on the school board and he was convicted of prostitution, pimping, and pandering 15-year-old girls right here in the city of Moreno Valley. And then people wonder why I do what I do. So this guy, Evan Morgan, supported by Highland Fairview, all kinds of stuff going on with that. There is a video where he is, and the video I believe was in 2010, and he is taking dolls. I don't know what a grown man is doing playing with dolls. And by the way, Evan Morgan is going through a divorce or separation, but he has 2 daughters. He has 2 children. And in 2010, he's got these dolls, and the video's up if you want to see it. You can go to mvgordy.com. You can go to Inland Empire Informer, The Hot Seat. It's all over there. And he's simulating forcible rape with dolls. He's playing with these dolls. And totally appalling. I don't have any kids in the school district, and everybody's talking about it in the city. So for those of you that are listening and those of you that are watching, Moreno Valley is a total joke. We have the distinction of getting the highest bribe in the FBI's history. Marcelo Coe is in jail right now because he took $3.2 million in Temecula in an FBI sting. So we have that distinction. So there's a lot of corruption in this city. And this is my 40th year on record to be in the city. So I would be called what is I predated the city because the city has only been in existence for like 33 years or something like that. So I've been here a long time. So with this radio show, a lot of people, it's hard to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm one of the very few people left that is actually saw the city grow and make all the mistakes, the highs and the lows and the base closing and all that other good stuff. I remember the B-52s out here and all that other stuff before I went to Okinawa. So that was really interesting. And then we came back from Okinawa. We came back and all hell has broke loose. And in this city, it's very unusual that you will actually see a black man that actually is from Moreno Valley, you know, my age. Now, I know there are younger ones, but I'm talking about like my age that have been here. Mostly everybody came from LA and Compton. And so all that was happening in the 90s. And So Mr. Morgan is simulating forcible rape with 2 dolls. He's playing and the video's there, whatever. And then there was another video before that where Mr. Morgan was racist comments, misogynist comments, homophobic comments, feminist comments, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. And this all came from his Twitter page, and a video was made and it was put out. And this guy is on our school board. These are the kind of people we attract in our city council and in our school board. And then, I know all my brothers and sisters from Okinawa and Kubasaki are saying, Donovan's always doing political stuff. You guys need to thank God that you aren't in a city where, it's just messed up. I mean, it's just corrupted and it's just messed up. A lot of you guys are in cities that have been well established. This city, 33 years old or so, 1984 is when it was formed, December 1984. And we don't have a civic center, and we're the second biggest city in this county. It just doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff going on. So that is why you always see me going off about this and about that and stuff like that. But Evan Morgan is doing this stuff, and we already had a pimp and a panderer on the school board. We don't need any more negative publicity. So I believe from what I've heard from the rumors and people contacting me, whenever some crap jumps off, for some reason people come to me and say, hey, take a look at this or check this out or whatever. And I know I'm swelling because the weather's changing. And I do and whatever. And my understanding is several members of the school board have been notified. The county school board has been notified. I believe the Press Enterprise, our local newspaper, has been notified, and just a bunch of stuff. So it's just it's ugly out here. So yeah. So we have a developer that controls the city, and he always backs candidates that have a very questionable background. And I'm not even talking about questionable. I'm talking about criminal, not even questionable, criminal. And this is how the developer does his work. And Victoria Baca, what she does, I mean, even right now, she's in a dispute with her own brother, who is giving out information that you got to piece it together, but he knows what's going on. But what she does is she preys on her own people. And it's sad that, you know, our city is mostly Hispanic, 58% Hispanic, 33% white, 32% black, something like that, whatever the numbers are. I know it adds up, but 30, the majority is Hispanic. And we are a sanctuary city from my understanding. And a lot of these Hispanics are first generation. A majority of them are first generation that are here, the kids and stuff like that. But it's a real bad situation. And so what she does is she preys on these people that have migrated here from Mexico. Of course, because they're here from Mexico under whatever circumstances, I'm not going to go into that, but for whatever circumstances that they migrated here, they don't necessarily go to law enforcement. So they look at Victoria Baca as a champion. And Victoria Baca will tell you, I will fight for you. I am a fighter. You know, got the guy, you know, she got the gastric bypass surgery and all that other good stuff. So good for her. Good for her. She's looking out for herself and stuff like that, but very, very, very evil woman. So, so what is Victoria Baca going to do for this district? Absolutely nothing. She's going to continue to do the Highland Fairview thing. If you're looking for a job, and those of you guys that are watching and listening, and you need a job, and all you got to do is say jobs. It's just like what Donald Trump is doing right now. Oh, you say jobs, and everybody just jumps up. This city is full of trucks and warehouses. And we have an Amazon fulfillment center. I mean, nightmares, you hear about stories like that. For Amazon to even come to Moreno Valley, the tax base was given away. The incentives was given away to bring them here, to bring in minimum wage jobs. Now, people say, oh, well, you know, Amazon, you know, they $12 an hour. Hey, Robin, if you live in North Carolina or down in the South, $15 an hour is pretty good. This is Southern California. $15 an hour ain't shit. Okay? Live off of. You're paying over $2,000 in LA for a one-bedroom apartment, and you're living in Beirut, okay? That's what's happening there. And the problem was where all these people migrated out to the Inland Empire is the military had left, the bases had closed, all these homes were available, and they came out. And, you know, I don't know please explain to me, how can you work at Taco Bell and expect to afford a $300,000 house? Can somebody please explain that to me? But anyway, they get these houses out here. They live in them for like 3 months, and then they lose the house, and then they all go to the apartments. And then you got Ray, Pookie, Shasha, Shaquita, all these people all in the apartment, and that's where you get all the shootings and stuff happening and stuff like that. I live in one of the oldest parts of the city. Very quiet here. A lot of military that retired in the 60s and 70s and 80s. So that's what's going on there. But a lot of stuff is happening. I can go on and on and on. So Yuxtin Gutierrez did show up for his job, which is surprising. But I want to talk about Pastor Don's Reflections Praise Band. And if you listen to Pastor Don's weekly devotional, which is a great thing, and he's so happy because he finally figured out how to share and see, so he can see all his likes, because he was getting a number and saying, well, there's only 32 people that saw my stuff. I said, no, Pastor Don, you have to share off of one page and go through that one page. You can't just link, because it'll be like 5 and 6 different links. So now that he's figured it out, and Pastor Don's not that old. He's only like 5 or 6 years older than me. And, so now he's happy because he's getting like 500, 600. It just keeps going up. And real quick, right now, 7,543 people are listening. And I don't know if that's worldwide or whatever it is, but we are on the internet. So that's really, really good. You guys continue to listen to the shenanigans that's going on in Moreno Valley. If you want a great, great comedy and a tragedy, come to Moreno Valley and write the story. As a matter of fact, there's a book that's going to be coming out. The screenplay is already done. It is called Scalawag. Hey, Pam. It is called Scalawag. And I am in that book because I ran, 2 years ago or whatever the deal is. So Scalawag is the book. So check it out if you could find it in Barnes & Nobles or Amazon, however you do that. But Reflections Praise Band, we are, Pastor Don is working on getting that church built up, and he's doing a lot of great things by bringing a Boys and Girls Club into the city. We are a city of 208,000 people and growing, and we don't even have a youth center. We don't even have a Boys and Girls Club. We have a center that needs to be revamped, but for this city, there is no amenities for the population. Golf courses kept going on. They're revamping the golf course. A lot of stuff that's happening. So that isn't happening. That should be happening. So, but before I go, a lot of local businesses, come to me and they say, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out. If you need some work done and you're in the local area, the Inland Empire, Turner's Construction Service, they do kitchen remodels, handyman services, you name it. Chris Turner does it. His number is 909-609-9395. Chris, actually, he's a veteran. So if you support veterans, please do this. He's a young man. He was in the Army. Not everybody could get in the Air Force, but he was in the Army, and he is a licensed contractor, does a lot of good stuff. I'm going to have him tear my bathroom out. What I mean, not tear it out, but like the shower area, I'm going to revamp that and put the same thing in there, but the one that I have in there has to come out because, this house is about 36 years old. So Turner's Construction Service, he's a good guy. I know him. He's a vet. If you support veterans, please check him out. If you want to know some information about the March Joint Powers Authority, please contact 951-656-7000 and just ask your questions away, see what's going on over there. Now, my favorite and all-time greatest, Shannon Hobson. She's the owner and baker of, what's it called? Look, now I'm getting old when I can't even read a little card. Shannon, next time make your card letters bigger. But it's called Favorite Things Bakery. And the word on the street is it is good. Go to her website, favoritетhingsbakery.com, and she has a menu and she does it all good. And I've heard her stuff is really, really good. A lot of pastries, a lot of cookies. She just puts some extra ingredients in it. Now, I know we're doing the marijuana thing. I hope she ain't sprinkling anything like that in there, but I doubt that. But she does a lot of great things like that. But her sister does military blankets and throws. I bought 3 of them. Gave one to my mom for Christmas. Gave one to my friend Tammy, and I gave one to my sister-in-law. Blah blah blah. My nephew's mom for Christmas, and great stuff. If you support small businesses and you support veterans, these are the people you're going to do it. So check them out. In regards to the Bridge Investment Group that are reworking the golf course over there, that is where we're going to get some insight on the Boys and Girls Club, and they want to plant the church and, help plant the church and see what we're going to do with that. So we're going to keep you guys involved with that. So, but again, I'm going to stress again for those of you guys that, hey, what's going up, Gil? Adonis, what's going on? But I'm going to tell you guys that just tuned in, please go to the Facebook page, Inland Empire Informer or The Hot Seat. And you're going to see a video that's very disturbing by a Moreno Valley school board member. Very disturbing, simulated, forced rape with dolls and misogynistic messages on Twitter. And this guy is on our school board. So please check that out. We have no champions for our animal shelter. We have a death shelter here. Belle Bib DeVoe, my dog is Belle, And I got her from the shelter. All cats come from the shelter. All my animals come from the shelter, and we have no champions from them. They are killing those animals at a record clip. What are we going to do about it, Moreno Valley? What are we going to do about it, Inland Empire? So please, if you got any ideas, please come onto the webpage. I see some people cursing at me in the chat. Now, for all you guys watching, all my friends and everybody that's watching me on Facebook Live, I get the people that are cursing me. These people are paid employees by Highland Fairview, and they're paid to harass and just keep everything going. And that's how business is done in America now, because this developer, he has no track record of doing anything. And I tell people to do their homework. They keep talking about this sketch of this guy. Oh, it's a 5-level, 5-star, da 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 da. If you go down to City Hall and you go to the planning division, they will tell you there's 2 more phases that haven't been done, and yet this guy wants to on a mega thing. It's incredible. It's just incredible. But anyway, I see Belle looking over there at me and stuff like that. But we need some champions for our animal shelter. They are killing those animals at a record clip. Why they're doing it makes no sense to me. A lot of stuff is happening, so I'm going to try to keep you informed as best I can. What else do we have going on? Belle, come back here. She's trying to go outside. I locked the door on her, so go lay down. So for those guys that are listening, what did I really talk about? The Moval Lakers, 7 and 8-year-olds. I helped coach with that team. They won last night, beat the brakes off of it. So, yeah. Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Christy. The lawsuit is still active against the city of Moreno Valley and the shelter. I think because LaDonna is not on the council, I don't think she's privy to it anymore, but her name is probably still on the initial suit because she was a council person. So thank you for that. So, yeah, I'm going to keep that going. But since we're talking about, we have a great rec center, but it's not big enough for the people that we have. So I ran for city council twice, as everybody knows, and unfortunately I didn't make it, but I got my message out. We need young leaders, and I'm going to tell you about some leaders that are leading the city. Jaime Moreno. Young man, has been involved in the city. He's the outreach coordinator for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. If you're going to looking for representation in District 4, and if they had to appoint, I would go with Jaime Moreno, a very young man. I mean, it's at a point now, the very people that are dealing with the corruption that is going on with this city, the very people that are that have led us down this path, are older people, and we need some young blood in here, and we got to start turning this around. So, what the Highland Fairview employees do is on my chat, what they do is they try to keep it full so nobody else can get questions in. So if I'm reading over your stuff, and I'm going to do the best I can to bring it, but that's how they operate. I mean, they can't do anything in the light. Everything for them is in the dark. The word on the street for my Moreno Valley people is Moses Riza has moved to District 4 so that he can be appointed to that seat or run for that seat. So be advised of that. I mean, everybody says, well, Donovan, how do you know all this stuff? I get these tips because a lot of people are afraid, and that's what they want you to be, is afraid to speak out for what's right. And it's very sad when people are scared to speak up for what's right. At least speak up for what's rightfully yours. And I've worked too hard, and my mama's worked too hard for me just to let somebody just come and take what she worked for and everybody else sacrificed so that I can be where I'm at. So, I refuse to let that shit happen. So please excuse my language. This is the internet. So you are allowed to curse and do what you got to do. So we're doing a lot of stuff, and it's just unfortunate. Now, Eloise Reyes, she just won assembly seat, and I was instrumental I wasn't like the main person, but I helped her by getting the word out, by pointing out unethical candidates. She's going to do a swearing-in ceremony, I believe February 2nd. I'll get that out. Please go to the page. and I was invited. I will cover that for her. She beat Chevron Cheryl Brown. Chevron Cheryl Brown received $3 million from the Chevron Corporation, and she sold her soul. I mean, she has no credibility in the Inland Empire anymore. This lady was the publisher of the second longest, oldest black newspaper in the United States. And I know Aunt Winsome, you're probably watching this. She's a good friend of my of my Aunt Winsome. They've known each other for years. Chevron Cheryl is very upset with me because when I talked to her daughter, it was told to me that I should be supporting her because black people, we got to stick together. No. I will not support any candidate that isn't looking out for my interests. I vote my interests. So if you want to go on that, let's stick together stuff, the Democratic Party, 40 years of liberal policies. And in my opinion, we're no better as a people. The minorities are no better where they're at. Wages haven't gone up. Unions are being destroyed. And I call them the Dummycrats, just let the Republicans roll over them. So, no, I vote my interests. I'm not with that. Oh, black people got to stick together because we're black. She was in there for 2 years and she did not represent the people she was supposed to represent. Why do you need $3 million? She was defeated by a lady that probably spun about $50,000. And her whole total war chest, overall, Cheryl Brown was given $6 million. So what does that tell you? So I will be in attendance for Eloise Reyes. I did support her. I constantly advertised her on my show. Chevron Cheryl Brown's good friend with Denise Fleming from Chicago. Denise Fleming. She thinks she's better than everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Denise Fleming! And those of us in Moreno Valley, we know that that's her personality and that's how she is. And the word on the street is she is trying to get elected to something. And she feels that because she came in second and received votes that did not add up, as we all know, in District 1, there were more votes than people that were registered to vote. So, Christy, you know what I'm talking about. Denise Fleming from Chicago! You don't know who I am? When I go into a room, I'm the best thing out there. You should be looking at me. That Denise Fleming. And her personality, I don't know if she doesn't know it or not, but her personality will turn somebody off. But she has proven that she will get down on her knees and do whatever she needs to do for Ito Benvizi, because during the election, the first debate we ever had, she ran over to Ito and was like, "Oh, I can't wait to work with you. What do you want me to do?" Yeah, black leadership. Black leadership. So again, there's a lot of stuff going on. So you guys and the people that are watching, please do your homework on these candidates and people and, what they're doing behind the scenes. Our city, what we do is we harass our longtime residents or, businesses by sending code enforcement out on them. And we do all kinds of juvenile stuff and it doesn't make sense. But that's the world we operate here. The neighborhood that I live in, totally neglected. It took me threatening a lawsuit for them to give us $200 and something in street repair. And if you ever come to visit here, it's like living in a third world country. Where I live is okay because I'm in the newer part, but what about the older part? It's like going to Tijuana. It's very, very sad, very, very, very depressing. So other than that, like I said, we went to the March JPA and we talked to some of the people. A lot of things are happening behind the scenes, but you, the listener, you guys, the watcher, you have to get involved. It is so sad that people could tell you about what's going on the national level. Donald Trump this, and you know what? Who cares? Who cares what he's saying? What matters is the local level. And this city is a exact replica of what can happen to your city if you're not paying attention and you're not vetting these candidates. No doubt in my mind. So you have to be very, very, very careful. You got to, just because that's your neighbor, that doesn't mean that that person is a good candidate to run for office. I mean, everybody can, but is it really a good thing that that person run? You know? So it's just something to think about. I want you guys to remember these names: Jaime Moreno, Gerardo, Jerry Mercado. I'm really bad with these accented names. It's rough. So my Spanish is poquito, very poquito. So we're going to work on it. But you have to get involved with your city council. You have to get involved, call these people, go to the meetings, see what's going on. Because by the time you figure it out, they're already gone. It's already a law. It's too late to be bitching and moaning and hollering and screaming. Oh, there's my friend Frida. Frida, you don't want to come back to March Air Force Base. Don't come back to this area. It's done. Frida, it was a funny thing. When I left Okinawa and I got stationed here, I was coming out of the BX, right, Frida? I think we were coming out of the BX, and I see this girl, and Frida has a distinctive walk. And when I was in Okinawa, I was one of the very first people she met. And Frida, anyway, make a long story short, I saw her at the base thing and in contact ever since. And that's one of my friends that I've known since back in Okinawa when we were just children. And she's out there doing great things. And she remembers when they were stationed at Spokane, I went to survival school out there, and we just had a great time growing up. And she just got back from Abu Dhabi. This is what I'm talking about when I say the Matrix. I do not believe life is about working for somebody, corporations, and you do that and you're stressed out and stressed out and stressed out. Life is about work somewhere, get your little retirement, move on, let the next generation move up and do what they have to do. But I'm getting ready to go back to Okinawa in March. I'll be stopping in Shanghai for a day. I'm going to go to the Shanghai Disneyland, but I'm really looking forward to going. I haven't been back to Okinawa since 2007. I retired from the military in 2012. I'm saying 2009, 2012. And I'm going to go back, see some friends and enjoy myself. But life isn't about work. I mean, you're only young once, you're only 40 once, you're going to be 50 once. I do not want to be going to Hawaii with a walker. I just don't want to do it. So you guys got to think about that. What is enough money? What is enough happiness? Now, I'm not a religious person, but I will tell you this. I can go to New York or go overseas and make $1 million. No problem with that. But to make that $1 million, I'm going to be stressed out. I'm going to be, constantly working, constantly upset. When I was in the military, I was constantly mad as an operations officer because I got to deal with this. I got to deal with TACC. I mean, I was losing my mind, with military operations. So, I remember I was sitting, one day and I just said, God, should I take this money or whatever? And something, I believe it was God, told me, you can go make $1 million, but you're never going to be able to do what it is you want to do. Or you can stay where you're at and you can do what you want to do. And guess what? I think I made the right decision because I'm not a millionaire, but I'm doing what I want to do. And to me, that is freedom. And when I say that I'm out of the matrix, that's what I mean. I am literally out of the matrix. Go see the movie. The movie, remember when Neo took the red or blue pill and he actually saw the world for what it was? That's what we're talking about. That's what I believe is happening. There is a conspiracy, and this is not a conspiracy thing, but I honestly believe this. It seems like everybody is enslaved, man and woman, to work for no wages, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But you got to ask yourself, hey, cousin. I mean, I got so many cousins, all these Hearsts, all these Malloyds. There's too many of you guys. But anyway, we're a gang. You know what? I wish we can get together like that and just take over. There's a lot of us. But that's what the movie's about. You got to ask yourself, what is enough? I see all my friends, getting the big houses, and now they're upside down in their houses. And they're miserable. They're just miserable. I said, well, what the hell you get the damn big ass house for? Do you really need 7 bedrooms? Keeping up with the Joneses. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, the little house that I'm in right now, I'm mad about that. I'm trying to downsize the crap in my garage. You know, I mean, what am I keeping these military uniforms for? They're not going to call me back. You know, so it's just crazy. It's crazy. What is enough? What do you need? When I get back to go overseas as a civilian, I'm not checking any bags. I'm taking what's on my back and I'm going to buy what I get there. And just have fun with my friends and just see things and just enjoy, you know. My mom is all worried because she's like, oh, you got to be careful of it. Golly, Mom, you weren't so worried when I was overseas fighting, you know. And then here's one thing, you know, and a lot of people don't believe this, but you got to believe it. And it's true. I mean, you got to listen to this. This is true. You might not believe it. If you're a black man, and in all my travels, and everybody knows I've traveled a lot of places, in all my travels, you know when you go on entry as a military person and they say, okay, don't go over here, this is off limits, whatever. I went to those exact areas and never had a problem. Even identified myself as an Americano. Because here's what you got to understand, especially if you're a black man or a black person. You have no value as a hostage. The perception of black people overseas, we get treated so badly here that, you know, unless you're Opie Cunningham, nobody's worried. When you go overseas, they're not really worried about you unless you're just being overtly, you know, American, you know. So my mom's, you know, I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to have any problems. I mean, it's going to be great. But hey, for the radio show, we're going to go to a break real quick. This is the Donovan Sadiq Show. Please continue to chat in. I see that you guys are chatting in to Edo Benvizi and Highland Fairview and the Edoites. I call those people Edoites. Please continue to hate. And the funny thing is, as much as you guys do, it just doesn't seem to work. So I'm not saying give up. I mean, but the more that you do that, the more that I do what I do. So, you know, just keep that in mind. We're going to go to commercial break on the radio, and we're going to get back to you guys real quick. This has been the Donovan Sadiq Radio Show. Love it, love it, love it. Gotta have it, have it, have it. For those of you guys that are listening on the thing, I am playing Howard Johnson, So Fine. That is the theme song for my show, because whenever I hear that song, I think of Raina Combs. I used to look at her in school and be like, oh my gosh, she is just so fine. So fine. Woo! But, you know, being an underclassman, she wouldn't give me the time of day. But, yeah. Donovan Sadiq Radio Show. We'll be right back.